Yo, so I just wanted to talk about something that's been going around on social media, I would say probably for at least like the last 5 years or so. And it's a question. And that question is your primary residence an asset or a liability? And, the world is divided on this. Everybody has an opinion. However, I'm here to tell you that each side is equally right. And they both can be true at the same time. Let me explain why. So one perspective is if you own your home and you live in that home, that it is a liability, while everybody else is saying you living in that home is an asset. It's a liability because it's costing you money. You're not making any money off of the home. You're paying a mortgage and you're not making any money. The asset side of people are saying, well, you're going to have to stay somewhere anyway. So why don't you just put money into your own asset where in any case you're building equity because you're paying down that loan balance. And while in most places over time the value of homes increase and you can sell at a later date for profit or get a home equity line of credit or get some sort of loan against the home to make another investment. Now, the reason why I say that both can be true is because yes, when you pay your mortgage, you're reducing, the debt on the home and you're growing equity. However, it can also be a liability because most people really don't know that when you own a home, let's just say, for example, a pipe bursts or, your hot water heater goes out or if your indoor or outdoor AC unit goes out. Well, you have to pay for that. That's what makes it a liability because now you're spending even more money. And this is even the case for rental properties. Like one of the rental properties that I had, the tenant ran the dishwasher and then went out of town. Well, anybody that knows the dishwasher has a hose where the water comes through, that hose some kind of way broke and, the kitchen flooded, right? So although this rental property is producing cash flow, when things break on that rental property, well, you as the landlord have to pay for these things when things break. So I had to get a new dishwasher, I had to replace the hose and replace parts of the flooring because it flooded. Now, when you look on social media, they say, well, that rental property is an asset. Well, it became a liability when I started to have to replace things like the roof or, in that case, the dishwasher and the hose to the dishwasher. So it's all depends on how you look at it. And it also depends on your lifestyle, right? So I have a friend that makes $20 million a year, but he only rents. He may move to Atlanta for like less than 6 months, rent over there, and then shoot over to LA for a couple months. He has heavy cash flow, but to him, his assets are paper assets, investing in the stock market. But owning a home would be a liability for him because every time he moves, he has to buy a home, go through that entire process, and then he has to sell the home when he's ready to go. So everybody in a sense is correct. And, they all have their pros and cons. If you're renting somewhere and something breaks, well, you don't have to worry about that. For example, if you're renting an apartment, you don't have to worry about keeping the grass cut in your apartment complex. If your hot water heater or if your washer or dryer breaks, well, the complex is the one that replaces those and maintenances those things. You don't have to worry about it because you're paying the rent and these things are included in your rent. But on the side of the homeowner, whether you live in a house or it's an investment property, if the washer or dryer breaks or something breaks, well, you have to cover that. So everybody's right. And again, like I said, they all have their pros and cons. Here's another con of renting. If you're renting, whether it's a home, an apartment, or whatever, and let's just say you lose your job and you can't make your next rental payment, the landlord doesn't want to hear that. And if you don't make that payment, well, now it's going to start affecting you negatively. It's going to go on your credit. You could get evicted. A lot of different things can happen in that case. Well, if you lose your job and you own a home, well, you have more options. You can rent that home out. If, when I owned a home, when I bought my first home and I lost my job and I couldn't make my mortgage payment, I didn't know that I could call the mortgage company and say, hey, do you all have like a forbearance program or something? Or do you all have like a loan extension or can I do a loan modification? And, extend the payments and maybe miss my next 2 or 3 payments and it won't affect me negatively, which a lot of mortgage companies have this because they don't want the house back. It's, if they have to foreclose on you once they get the home back, well, now it's costing them money and time and the home has to sit and degrade and go through a process before they can sell it. So, each of them have their own pros and cons, and it really just depends on your lifestyle. If you move around a lot, buying a home may not be an asset for you or a liability because, you just stay away from it. And there's nothing wrong with renting either. It just depends on your lifestyle. So both can be true at the same time, and they both can be true individually. It just depends on your lifestyle and your goals. Okay. Now, myself, I always have to have a piece of real estate. That's just me. Now, my current home is paid off. So I guess you can call that an asset, right? Because I can literally sell that home and get the cash, get a line of credit, or, borrow against that home and then go and buy another home or do whatever. So in that case, it's an asset, but it's also a liability because I got to keep the grass cut. I got to keep buying air filters. I got I got a water bill. I got an electric bill, the internet, all of these things that still have to be paid, that although it's an asset that could produce income if I wanted it to, I still have things that have to be paid for that are just a part of owning a home. The homeowners association dues, the taxes, those type of things. So it can all be true at the same time. Now, although I love assets, although I love, real estate and stocks, nothing beats cash flow that is replenished every day, every week, every month. Nothing beats that. And, although I like, real estate and stocks, to me, owning a business is a lot better of an asset than stocks and real estate. That's just my opinion, but everybody else's opinion is different. But let me know what you all think in the comment section. Do you view a home that you live in as an asset or liability, or do you think it's both? Which I think it can be both. Look forward to hearing from you.